Hi, my name is Richard
Dylan.
Dylan. I'm a resident of North Glengarry. Lived here since 2013. Moved out of Ottawa because I wanted to be out in the country. And this is perfect for me. I have engineering knowledge. I'm an older guy. And I came out here to live in a quiet, non-industrialized community. Now I'm going to be asked to pay more taxes than I'm paying now, fairly high, to put up an industrial project that won't give me any benefit. And I know that the farmers around here are not going to be very happy when this thing blows up. So
I'm a resident of Limoges. I know that I moved here to be out in the countryside, not close to a 15-minute city or an industrialized zone. And after looking at the township that I moved to, they originally struck down a very similar project that we're going to be discussing here today.
yeah. So also as a veteran, I think I have a right to speak for my country, my province, and this area here. I don't like the way this is going. I'm very concerned about the environmental impact. I'm very concerned about raising taxes, and this is definitely going to rise taxes. We have to pay for this. Where does the money come from? Yeah, they're getting grants, but eventually that grant comes from our taxes also. So if the township's going to raise their taxes eventually because, you know, they have to train people to put out this fire, which they can't control anyway. So I don't want to pay more taxes.
When we've talked about this in the town council meetings, you know, we've gone through this over and over again. We've brought up the safety concerns, we've brought up the health concerns, and all of these very similar concerns were brought up in the nation,
Right.
where I'm a resident of. And it was struck down in their town council, and for some reason North Glengarry was the next motion over. So the same marketing team brought it to this council, and somehow council decided that a BESS energy system was best for this community. And as we've discussed, the health hazards involved in the fires of that have a tendency to break out in multiple occasions, despite what town council would have you believe from their last meeting. And we will be providing evidence of all of the fires that have taken place, not just in Canada, but the United States, the UK, Africa, and many other places where this global operating company has put in the exact same systems time and time before.
You know what concerns me? Is we were told by the mayor himself that, oh, there haven't been any major fires since, what, 2017, and yet in California, in mid-January, one of these facilities for the second time blew up, and they just everybody backed off, and they evacuated for about 20 kilometers around the area because of the toxic gas that they was releasing. So what are we dealing with here? We're not being told.
That's really the concern that I have as well, because when you look at it, we are an area that is surrounded by many feeding streams to our larger source water systems. And once these fires break out, they're not like a normal house fire. A normal house fire, you can see it smoldering, you can see it burning, you know if it's going to reignite. A lithium-ion cell does not operate in the same way. A lithium-ion cell will just appear to get hot, and eventually it will explode like a firebomb. That is basically like packing napalm into a 45-gallon drum and then saying, well, let's see what happens. Why is it that a farmer should have to pay the price for that just in the destruction of land alone? Yeah. Besides the actual toxins that will end up in the water. During our municipal meeting, we had discussed with councillors about how the geological report came back. We didn't get any evidence of a geological report about where this is being put in the ground, but he did care to mention that the boreal shield could be 60 meters down. Well, 60 meters down isn't where your water table sits. Now, I'm someone who has been employed by the National Research Council for the Ocean, Coastal, and River Engineering Division. So we've worked on dams, we've worked on water sources, we've worked on how water sources are damaged and affected by different elements that would impact it. And in my time there, the one thing that I've learned is that water's not linear, it's not vertical. It travels in many directions based on the topography of its location.
Yeah, I know about that.
So with this taking place, they decided to border it right on the neighboring town line to the nation, the very same municipality that rejected it to begin with. And again, if something were to happen.
That's like a slap in the face.
Exactly. Where's the respect for the nation when they said, we don't want it, and they said, well, guess what? We'll put it on your border.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point. Thank you very much. It's been great.